Hey guys, thank you for joining us again. So what do you got? Last week we worked on getting our jab nice and crisp and coming off of our back foot, having good balance. This week we're going to follow that jab with a nice cross. We're going to work on some of the finer points of our cross coming out of our power hand on our backside. I'm going to start by throwing it. I'm going to face you guys first, and then I'm going to face away from you so that you can see both angles. So I'm going to start in my shorter stance, my Thai stance that I start in, my kicking stance. And when I step forward, I'm going to turn my rear heel in, and I'm going to bring my front foot forward about a foot's worth. So my heel is going to land about where my toes were, and my back foot's going to slide in. Now I'm in my boxing stance. Okay? If you cross from here, you don't get much twist. If you step up and cross from there, then you got a lot better twist. I'm facing this way, the same way as you guys are facing. I step up, bring that rear heel in clockwise, and I step forward with my front foot. So that now I'm in my boxing stance. Now, when you throw this cross, what you want to make sure is that your punch is coming off of your foot on the ground. So we're going to turn our heel out like that. You can even place your hands behind your back so that you can feel this rotation turning your hip and shoulder into your punch. Okay? Then you put your hands up, and at the same time that I twist this, I let my connection of my foot on the floor power my punch, and as I turn, I just extend all the way out. I'm going to end up with my palm parallel to the ground. Okay, don't cross like that. You're going to turn and put your palm parallel to the ground. Your front foot's going to get a little bit heavier than your back foot when you throw this, because you're pushing off of the ball of your foot and twisting, and more of your weight is going to go onto this front side. But you don't want to end up leaning like this with your shoulders. It's a good idea to work your cross in the air. You can put your jab before it, or you can just work that cross. And it's a good idea to work it in the air before you start hitting the target with it, so that you can feel it coming off of your foot on the floor and out. Throwing your foot on the floor, up through your hip, out your shoulder, and out through your fist. So I twist on the floor, and I cross. Twist, and cross. Now I'm going to come to my target. When I hit my cross, I want to place myself at an arm's distance away, so that when I step forward, I've got a good range for that jab. I can throw my cross from the same range. So I twist my heel out counterclockwise, and I throw that cross. My hand should snap out and back when I throw my cross. So it's going to come out, and it's going to snap into my target and back. Snap and back. So we don't want to push, in other words. You don't want to push through your target like that. You want to snap and throw with your shoulder behind it, hip behind it, foot behind it. Twist and throw that cross. If I start coming from my shorter stance and stepping into my jab and then following with the cross, it'll look like so. Jab, cross, reset. Shorter stance, step in, jab, cross, reset. If you're at home without a bag, step in, jab, cross, reset. Jab, cross, reset. Notice I'm not diving forward with my shoulders. A problem that we often see is bringing your shoulder forward into your punch, because if you bring your shoulder forward as you punch, it's going to keep your arm from extending. So if my target is here, if I bring I'm going to move this hand just so you guys can, when you cross, you keep your hand up, but I'm going to move it just so you guys can see what's going on over here. So if I bring my punching shoulder forward, then it stops my arm from extending all the way into my punch. And it brings my weight forward, and it takes away my balance. So instead, I want to keep my shoulders over where my hips are, and I want to twist. So I am putting shoulder into my punch, but I'm not moving my shoulder axis forward away from where my hips are. So my shoulders are staying over where my hips are, and I'm twisting into my punch, extending my arm all the way out, so that by the time you hit, your arm should be fully extended. Once more, boxing stance, twist that rear foot on the ball of your foot, and cross. We're here, and cross. If I want to set it up with the jab, step in, jab, cross. Step in, jab, cross. Don't short yourself, guys, on your jab, your cross, your foot movement. You're going from your transition from your short stance into your boxing stance. These are maybe some of the first things that we learn, and they're simpler than other techniques in that they're primarily forward and back, but there's a lot of little moving parts to them that we can get better at. And if you can get better at these basic techniques, it's never going to stop helping you from your beginning of your journey all the way up to the highest levels. There's world-class fighters that use the jab and the cross exceedingly well, and that's their main weapon. If you can increase over time your speed, your accuracy, your precision of your jab and your cross, they'll never stop being useful to you in your game. Much like in basketball, you never reach a level where you're not going to take a jump shot again. So it's always important to keep training those muscles and keep training that skill and get better and better and better at it. Go Kun Krap. See you guys next week.